A very good evening. You're watching Primetime News on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Mitra Bekun. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for tonight.
Newsfirst headlines. Main sponsor.
Ask for Eslon Polygon by name.
Trump gives Iran 48 hours to open the Strait of Hormuz, says will target power plants if the strait is not opened. Counterattacks will be severe if power plants are targeted. Iran responds. Water treatment plants may also be targeted. Iran imposes a $2 million tax on ships passing through Hormuz. Iran launches severe attacks on Israel in the last 24 hours. Over 100 people injured, including 4 Sri Lankans. Global energy crisis. Many countries on the verge of the worst energy crisis yet. International Energy Agency issues a warning. Domestic fuel prices rise to manage the energy crisis. Government to spend 20 billion rupees per month on fuel subsidies for the general public. Minister Nalinda reveals.
Diesel liter එකට රුපියල් 100ක් රජය මගින් දරාගෙන තිබෙනවා. පෙට්‍රල් ලීටර එක රුපියල් 20ක් රජය මගින් දරාගෙන තිබෙනවා. ඒ සඳහා මාසයකට රුපියල් බිලියන 20ක් රජය මගින් දරනවා.
Uninterrupted fuel supply until the end of next month. Petroleum Cooperation issues a fresh assurance. Bus associations demand a fare hike. Proposal to increase bus fares will be presented to the cabinet tomorrow. Container transport charges up by 20% from today. Three-wheeler fares are also set to increase. Where should Sri Lanka cricket change? Have responsible authorities fulfilled their duties?
Newsfirst headlines. Main sponsor.
Ask for Eslon Polygon by name.
Onto those stories in detail now. U.S. President Donald Trump said the U.S. will obliterate Iranian power plants if the Strait of Hormuz is not open before a 48-hour deadline. Iran says that if its power plants are targeted, it will launch retaliatory strikes against all U.S.-linked energy infrastructure and water treatment facilities located across the Middle East.
Trump's ultimatum.
U.S. President Donald Trump issued Iran with a 48-hour deadline to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, after which he said the U.S. will obliterate Iranian power plants. In peacetime, around 20% of the world's oil and liquefied natural gas or LNG shipments passes through the strait, making it critical for global energy supplies. Trump posted on his Truth Social platform at 11:44 p.m. GMT on the 21st of March, meaning Iran has until 11:44 p.m. GMT on the 23rd of March to meet the U.S. President's demand. He posted, quote, "If Iran doesn't fully open without a threat the Strait of Hormuz within 48 hours from this exact point in the time, the United States of America will hit and obliterate their various power plants, starting with the biggest one first." End quote.
Iran's response.
Tehran this morning showed no signs of backing down, responding to Trump's ultimatum with its own threat of retaliation as it vowed to strike U.S. and Israeli infrastructure in the region in response to any attack on its power plants. According to the IRNA, Iranian state news agency, Colonel Ibrahim Zolfakhari, spokesman for Iran's Qatam al-Anbiya military command headquarters, warned today, quote, "If Iran's fuel and energy infrastructure is attacked, then fuel energy, information technology systems and desalination infrastructure used by America and the regime in the region will be struck." End quote. Desalination, the process of creating drinkable water from seawater, is critical to supplying water across Israel and many of Iran's Gulf neighbors. Iran's army said it will target energy and desalination infrastructure belonging to the US and the regime in the region. The Speaker of the Iranian Parliament, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, has threatened to destroy vital infrastructure across the Gulf region in an irreversible manner if the US and Israel target the country's power plants. In a post on X, Ghalibaf said vital infrastructure, energy and oil facilities throughout the region will be considered legitimate targets. The Speaker went on to warn that the price of oil will rise for a long time. The ultimatum, made just a day after the US President said he was considering winding down military operations after 3 weeks of war, came as the key oil passage remained effectively closed and thousands more US Marines headed to the Middle East.
Iranian strikes on Israel.
An Iranian missile strike hit the town of Dimona in southern Israel yesterday, approximately 13 kilometers from a nuclear research facility. Though the International Atomic Energy, so any indication that it is being targeted is taken with the utmost seriousness by Israel. Iranian state TV said the strike was in response to a reported attack on Iran's Natanz nuclear facility earlier on Saturday. Another Iranian missile struck Arad, a small town in southern Israel, after air defense systems failed to intercept the projectile. Emergency services in Israel said 88 people were taken to hospital after the strike and said 10 of those were seriously injured. Dozens more people were also injured from the attack in Dimona. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu described it as a very difficult evening for the country.
Situation in the Gulf nations.
Countries in the Gulf have been responding to multiple attacks as the war in the Middle East continues to threaten the daily life. The United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia say they have intercepted attacks this morning, with 2 missiles falling in an uninhabited area, according to Saudi Arabia. People who remain in the region are those who trust the air defense systems. The UAE keeps a tight grip on information. Filming any attacks or damage is illegal, but it says most attacks have been intercepted. As Iran renews its threats to energy infrastructure, leaders here are weighing their options. Saudi Arabia has been the most vocal in its threats to respond militarily. Saudi Arabia has officially expelled Iran's military attaché and embassy staff, giving them 24 hours to leave. Riyadh declared that trust has been destroyed following Iranian attacks on Gulf shipping and infrastructure, effectively ending any immediate hopes for a regional ceasefire. Meanwhile, Oman said a group of its citizens has returned home safely from Iran as repatriation efforts continue. In a statement reported by the Oman News Agency, the Foreign Ministry said the evacuation was carried out via land and air routes, coordinated through diplomatic missions in Tehran and Turkey's capital Ankara. It added that monitoring of Omani citizens abroad is continuing around the clock to ensure their safety and security. Bahrain's defense forces say they have intercepted and destroyed 145 missiles and 246 drones since the war began. The military said in a statement that its air defense systems were continuing to counter successive waves of attacks, which it attributed to Iran. It said the interceptions had taken place since the start of what it described as an ongoing escalation.
Situation in the Strait of Hormuz.
Iranian Member of Parliament has claimed on state TV today that some of the ships that pass through the Strait of Hormuz are being charged with a $2 million fee by Iran. He has said that a new governing regime is being imposed in the strait and war has costs, adding that this shows the authority and right that the Islamic Republic of Iran possesses. The Iranian semi-official Mehr news agency reported that Iran's representative to the UN's International Maritime Organization said that the Strait of Hormuz remains open to all shipping except to vessels linked to Iran's enemies. Ali Musavi, Tehran's representative to the IMO, said passage through the narrow waterway is possible by coordinating security and safety arrangements with Tehran. He said, quote, "Diplomacy remains Iran's priority. However, a complete cessation of aggression as well as mutual trust and confidence are more important." End quote. Meanwhile, the nuclear-powered British submarine HMS Anson has arrived in the Arabian Sea amid the US threat to escalate its military operations against Iran. According to the Daily Mail, the submarine left the Australian city of Perth on the 6th of March and is believed to be taking position in the northern Arabian Sea, an area near the Strait of Hormuz. HMS Anson is fitted with Tomahawk Block 4 land attack missiles with a range of 1,600 kilometers and Spearfish heavyweight torpedoes. The arrival of the vessel in the Middle East region also comes as UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer agreed to allow the US to use British military bases.
It has been 23 days since the war in the Middle East began. Experts warn that if the conflict continues, the world could face a severe crisis in the global energy market.
Many countries are already facing an energy crisis due to the ongoing war that began with the joint attack on Iran by the United States and Israel on the 28th of February. The International Energy Agency warns this could be the worst global energy crisis since the 1970s. Crude oil prices have surged past $100 per barrel. Today, Brent crude was at $112.02, while US crude stands at $98.32 despite the weekend. Gas prices in Europe have doubled, triggering a widespread economic strain. Fuel prices in the United States increased. The average petrol price exceeded $3.75 per gallon last Tuesday, the highest since October 2023. Analysts say monthly expenses for Americans have risen 15 to 20% due to fuel price hike. Europe on the brink of an energy crisis. Europe faces its energy crisis since the 1970s, largely due to reliance on LNG from Qatar and the Strait of Hormuz blockade. Gas prices rose 70% in March, driving electricity costs up by 50%. The European Union has urged member states to start early on meeting next winter's gas storage targets after Iranian attacks on Gulf energy facilities caused prices to surge on global markets. Energy prices in Germany surge. Electricity bills for an average family rose 60%, leading the government to declare an energy emergency and limit public lighting and hot water. Foreign media reported that many factories have temporarily halted production. Energy prices in France reaches new heights. Electricity prices hit record highs even after government imposed price caps, with bills up 45%. Heavily gas-dependent electricity generation has pushed bills so high that small businesses, including restaurants, are struggling to survive. Australia has seen the sharpest rise in fuel prices in the developed world since the start of the Iran war. Fuel prices surged 25 to 30% since February. Australian Energy Minister confirmed sufficient stocks until the end of April. Thailand. About 50% of crude oil and 30% of LNG imports pass through the Strait of Hormuz. With 57% of electricity generated from natural gas, rising fuel costs threaten both power generation and industrial production in the country. Myanmar. Fuel shortages are severe. The odd-even system is in effect, causing long queues and impacting essential services like crematoriums.
Cabinet spokesperson Minister Dr. Nalinda Jaytis announced that the government is providing a subsidy of 100 rupees per litre of diesel and 20 rupees per litre of petrol as a concession to the general public. The minister further said that the latest fuel price revision includes a total monthly subsidy allocation of 20 billion rupees borne by the government.
Fuel prices were increased with effect from midnight yesterday. According to the price revision by the Lanka Petroleum Corporation and Lanka IOC, the price of a litre of octane 95 petrol rose by 90 rupees, making the new price 455 rupees. Octane 92 petrol increased by 81 rupees, now 398 rupees. Super diesel went up by 90 rupees, now 443 rupees per litre. Auto diesel increased by 79 rupees, reaching 382 rupees. Kerosene rose by 60 rupees, now 255 rupees per litre. Sinopec also revised fuel prices from midnight today. Super diesel jumped by 219 rupees to 572 rupees per litre. Octane 95 petrol increased by 122 rupees, now 487 rupees. Octane 92 petrol went up by 81 rupees, reaching 398 rupees. Auto diesel increased by 79 rupees, now 382 rupees per litre.
පෙබරවාරි 28 සිට මාර්තු 20 දක්වා කාලය තුලදී
Since the war began, fuel prices have surged sharply. From the 28th of February to the 20th of March, 92 octane petrol rose by $70.98, which is an 89% increase. Diesel by $129.76, which is 141% increase. And crude oil by $66.35, which is a 92% increase. The import premium jumped from between $3 and $4 to $45 and $50. The private sector has long demanded a price hike. On the 6th of March, they asked for 140 rupees per litre. Now, it's nearly 200 rupees a litre. With 43% of the market in oil trading being from the private sector, this cannot be ignored. The Petroleum Corporation is selling at a loss. Without partial price adjustments, they would need large loans to import future shipments. To ease the burden, the government provided a subsidy of 100 rupees per litre of diesel and 20 rupees per litre of petrol, costing the government 20 billion rupees per month. If the government had to bear all of this cost alone, the cost would be an additional $1.5 billion per year.
අමතර වශයෙන් ඩොලර් බිලියන 1.5ක අමතර වැයබක් දරන සිදු වෙනවා.
Diesel consumption has risen by 50% up to the 21st of March. Super diesel sales are up 64% and 92 octane petrol by 56%. At the same time, we face a supply crisis. The crude oil ship scheduled for the 24th and 25th of February and the ship scheduled for the 12th and 13th did not arrive. To manage this, we made an immediate purchase through a tender open on the 17th of March, which came with a very high premium. So far this month, 144,707 litres of diesel have been released, about 4 ships worth, and 106,464 litres of 92 octane petrol, that is around 2.8 shipments. This urgent situation forced the price increase. Currently, a litre of petrol costs 430 rupees, and there is a loss of 32 rupees and 72 cents. Diesel is 586 rupees, and a loss of 204 rupees and 55 cents, and kerosene 395 rupees with a loss of 140 rupees. This is why the government had decided to bear half of the cost.
Will there be any disruption to fuel supply? A ship carrying 37,000 metric tons of diesel is scheduled to arrive on Wednesday the 25th. Several other shipments are planned next month as per the 17th of March tender. April 6th and 7th, 2 ships with 37,000 metric tons of diesel. April 10th and 11th, 35,000 metric tons of furnace oil. April 12th and 13th, 35,000 metric tons of Jet A1. April 16 and 17, 30,000 metric tons of petrol. Although the crude oil ships for the 24th and 25th were cancelled, the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation confirms that fuel supplies will continue without interruption next month.
Meanwhile, the fuel quota issued under the QR code system has also been revised with effect from midnight yesterday. The weekly fuel allowance for cars has been raised by 10 litres, bringing the total allocation to 25 litres per week. The fuel quota for three-wheelers has been raised by 5 litres, raising the total to 20 litres. Motorcycles will now receive 8 litres per week, following an increase of 3 litres. For buses, the weekly fuel allocation has been increased by 40 litres, bringing the total to 100 litres. Vans will receive an additional 10 litres, taking their weekly quota up to 50 litres. However, there is no change in the fuel allocation for lorries and special purpose vehicles. Under the revised fuel prices and updated quota system, the weekly cost for a car is as follows. 25 litres of octane 92 petrol, 9,950 rupees. 25 litres of octane 95 petrol, 11,375 rupees. 25 litres of auto diesel, 9,550 rupees. 25 litres of super diesel, 11,075 rupees. For three-wheelers, 20 litres of octane 92 petrol, 7,960 rupees. 20 litres of octane 95 petrol, 9,100 rupees. 20 litres of auto diesel, 7,640 rupees. 20 litres of super diesel, 8,860 rupees. Meanwhile, under the QR system, 8 litres of octane 92 petrol for a motorcycle will cost 3,184 rupees, while 8 litres of octane 95 petrol will cost 3,640 rupees.
Regarding our current crude oil stocks, when the crude oil tanker does not arrive on the 24th and 25th, we will only be able to operate the refinery until the middle of next month. When the refinery shuts down, we lose furnace oil and naphtha that are produced there. We use both of these for electricity generation. Therefore, a serious problem arises for the power sector. This is why we moved for an emergency procurement on the 17th via a tender for furnace oil. We received a tender for it, and that tanker is scheduled to arrive on the 12th or 13th of next month. Once that tanker arrives, that specific issue will be resolved. However, we are not receiving naphtha. Instead, we will be compelled to use diesel for power generation. This is why we require such a large number of diesel shipments. The public
Move forward, Sri Lanka.
According to the Lanka Private Bus Owners Association, bus fares are expected to increase by 15% following fuel price adjustments.
අපි දැනට තියෙන තත්ත්වය අනුව සාමාන්‍යයෙන් 100ට අපි නිකන් ශෛලොක්ක වෙලා කතා කළ වැඩක් නැහැ. මේකෙදි 15 වගේ පරාසයක මේ බස් ගාස්තුවේ සංශෝධනයක් බොහෝ දුරට ඉඩ මේ වෙනස් වීමට ඉඩ තියෙනවා. ඉතින් හැබැයි එකක් තියෙනවා අපිට අවම ගාස්තුවත් අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම රුපියල් 35ක්වත්
Meanwhile, the Interprovincial Private Bus Association stated that buses were withdrawn from service from 6 p.m. today after bus fares were not increased. The president of the Interprovincial Private Bus Association, Sirasa, said that the decision was taken following an over-the-phone discussion regarding their demands with relevant transport authorities. Meanwhile, the Minister of Transport said that the proposal for the bus fare increase will be presented to the cabinet tomorrow. In light of the government's recent petrol price hike, three-wheeler associations are urging the authorities to raise the fare for the first kilometre by 20 rupees. Sri Lanka Logistics and Freight Forwarders Association has also said that container transport fares will need to rise due to increased fuel costs. Association Secretary Inam Kafur stated that container transport fares may need to increase by 350% to 400% when compared to the delay charges. President of the All Ceylon Canteen and Restaurant Owners Association, Harshana Rukshan, has urged that food prices should not be increased.
මධ්‍යම රාත්‍රියේ සිට ජනමිලේ ඉහළ ගියා. නමුත් අපි ඉල්ලීමක් කරනවා ආපනශාලා හිමියන්ගේ සංගමෙන් ආහාර මිල කිසිසේත්ම ඉහළ දැමීමකට යන්න එපා. අපි අපේ පාරිභෝගිකය රැකගන්න සහ අපි අපේ කර්මාන්ත රැකගන්න කටයුතු කරන්න ඕනේ අවස්ථාවක් මේක. ඉතින් ඒකන්ද අපි පාරිභෝගිකයව අගතිරපත් කරන්න බෑ මේ අවස්ථාවේදී. ඒකහන්ද මම ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා ආහාර පාන වල මිල වැඩි කිරීමක් සිදු කරන්න එපා.
Move forward, Sri Lanka.
Sailor Enterprises presents Russell Peters returns to Colombo for the Relaxed World Tour, 31st March 2026 at the all-new Lumina Hall in the City of Dreams, powered by the Australian Migration Consultants. Tickets out now on bookmyshow.com.
Welcome back to the news. Lanka Nature Conservationists marked its 10th anniversary in Colombo yesterday.
Lanka Nature Conservationists celebrated its 10th anniversary in Colombo yesterday, marking a decade of dedicated service toward environmental protection and sustainable development in Sri Lanka. Founded with a vision to promote conservation awareness and responsible stewardship of natural resources, Lanka Nature Conservationists has spent the past decade implementing initiatives in wildlife protection, habitat restoration, environmental education and community engagement through tree planting campaigns, field visits, school awareness programs and collaborations with like-minded institutions. The official website of the Lanka Nature Conservationists, showcasing its vision and ongoing efforts to conserve Sri Lanka's rich biodiversity, was also launched during the event. The event brought together distinguished guests, members, supporters and environmental advocates.
The Colombo Wind Orchestra is set to take center stage on the 26th of March in Colombo, presenting a special tribute concert dedicated to the legendary composer Alfred Reed.
Final rehearsals are underway for the Alfred Reed Music Festival hosted by the Wind Orchestra of Sri Lanka, paying tribute to legendary music composer Alfred Reed. Let's go take a look at their preparations. Rehearsals for the Alfred Reed Music Festival were held today as many musicians prepare to fine-tune a dynamic program featuring some of Alfred Reed's most celebrated works alongside a selection of timeless classical favorites.
Please come for our concert. There is ample enough of tickets at the gate. Keep the day free, Thursday 26 at 7:30 p.m.
The concert will be led by Japanese conductor Keiko Kobayashi, who is guiding the ensemble through its final preparations.
I'm Keiko Kobayashi, conductor from Japan. So shall we enjoy real wind music together? Thank you.
Protect our cricket.
How does Sri Lanka cricket need to change? This question has sparked widespread debate. Have the authorities responsible for the sport fulfilled their duties? Here is a closer look at the issue.
In recent times, mainstream media and social media have exposed the alarming weaknesses of our cricket administrators. It is no secret that corruption and mismanagement have been at the heart of this crisis. When these issues are highlighted, administrators defend themselves by saying, "We were elected. We are independent." If a small group in Sri Lanka cricket believes that cricket belongs to them alone, untouchable like a king's jewel, that notion is no longer valid. Are they asking the people of this country to quietly watch the game we love sink further? Cricket belongs to the people, not a privileged few. Administrators must be directly accountable to over the 20 million Sri Lankans who live and breathe this sport. Your rules, your arrogance, your immunity, none of it holds weight with the people. Do you think you are above cricket that has 40 years of Test history, 2 World Cup victories and 4 World Cup final appearances? We have revealed your corruption through statistics, data and COPE committee reports, and we are prepared to expose more irregularities in the future. Cricket is not a treasure to be hoarded by a few. It is our right, our game. We celebrate wins and losses together as a nation. But the people will no longer tolerate mismanagement. The contract you had with the people has been breached. Your actions will come back to haunt you. Keep in mind, the country is united and ready to save Sri Lankan cricket.
Newsfirst with the people.
And that's a wrap of your primetime news for tonight. Thank you for watching. Good night.